exactly, yeah. So, perfect timing, for sure.
Hi.
Wind turbines on the barge over there, the transport barge.
Hello, there we go. Well, good afternoon. Good afternoon. I know we were close. Thank you all for coming. I think this gathering here is a testament to how important this business is to our city, but how important this grant is, which is just extraordinary. So I think it must be a slow day in the office, because I think every department head is here this morning. Thank you all for coming. I'm not going to introduce them all one by one. I also want to recognize City Councilor Riona Dice for being here. Thank you for taking the time. We are just extraordinarily lucky here in the City of New London, first and foremost for this business. That would be any municipality in the state would be jealous to have a family business like this. This is just the most incredibly hardworking group of people that I've ever seen. I think maybe running a city is difficult, but running across South Ferry, I wouldn't want to be responsible for all of this. But we appreciate what you do, and we're extraordinarily thankful to have a great federal delegation that looks out for all of our businesses, but this is certainly the jewel. Very important interstate commerce, very important, for all the people that flow through New London to go to the destinations, coming and going. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our Master of Ceremonies for today, Jay Levin.
Thanks. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And as you'll see, this is all a joint process too. I mean, obviously, you've got the Ranowskis, John and Susan Ranowski right there. Their business, they're growing it. This is a great day for them. But you have to have the City of New London's cooperation. You have to have letters of support from our state delegation. And then you have to have amazing people in Congress that can actually deliver these sorts of things. And we do. We have that kind of delegation, folks who can deliver. This is part. Cross-Island Ferries being granted $3.9 million on part of a ferry terminal project. This would be basically the infrastructure for a new high-speed ferry terminal, and provide additional docks, additional parking. As you can see, when generally you go to most ferries in most major cities, there's parking all over the place. Here, we're very restricted in the waterfront, so whatever room we can carve out, wherever we can, it's extremely important. And this grant was really designed by the Marine Administration nationally to work specifically on maritime infrastructure in order to be able to support transportation, which is what the Ranowskis do in the millions, and also the movement of freight and commerce through our neighboring states and through Long Island Sound and beyond. Part of a $2.25 billion proposal as part of President Biden's infrastructure law, and aimed just at these types of purposes all around the country. And when I say all around the country, looking at the recipients, they literally from Alaska to this coast and this place where we're standing right now, were cities in a highly competitive. There were hundreds and hundreds of applicants here, but again, due to the combined skills of the folks we have here, and particularly the extraordinary talent of the man I'm not going to introduce, Joe Courtney, our congressman, the man who makes things happen.
Thank you, Jay.
So he did a really nice job, as usual, of sort of walking through the big picture in the process that the Ranowski's family just went through and succeeded. So really just to sort of footstop a couple of the points. I mean, it was almost exactly 3 years ago that President Biden signed into law the bipartisan infrastructure bill. Again, this was a generational measure in terms of investing in long overdue improvements and construction of new infrastructure. In the past, the infrastructure bills were always sort of viewed as highway bills. The first one was actually signed by Dwight D. Eisenhower in the 1950s. It was the Interstate Highway Bill. But this year, or 3 years ago, the BIF, the Bipartisan Infrastructure Bill, really sort of expanded the scope and the definition of what is infrastructure. So projects like the one that we're talking about here today, which traditionally really were not part of the process, were included. The Port Infrastructure Development Program, PIDIP, is the acronym for it. Again, there's a recognition that we're a maritime country, in that goods and people move by water and sea. Actually, if you really do the analysis, it's by even greater volume, particularly in terms of freight, than by truck or rail. So, but we really had neglected for far too long, upgrading and improving the port infrastructure of this country. Any of you travel overseas, I mean, you know exactly what I'm talking about, comparatively speaking. So, fast forwarding to today, this process, which again, as Jay said, was a competitive process. This was not a formula grant where, basically you just kind of submitted by your zip code. I mean, you really had to demonstrate, a well thought out project to the penny. I mean, it's 3.9 and change is the way the award was announced. And again, the Ranowski family just did a magnificent job in terms of out-competing, dozens and hundreds of other projects that were submitted to the U.S. Department of Transportation Maritime Administration. So congratulations to the three generations of Ranowskis that are here today, and to the city of New London.
With on Cross Sound Ferry, working in a room, booking people's tickets. I don't think it was always the best first job, but unless you got to work on the ferry too, I know some of my son's friends got to do that. And it's just it's a business that we probably take for granted a little because we don't worry about them. We know that they're going to run their business smoothly. We know everybody's going to get to their destination safely. We know the cars are going to go on and come off. And I am truly thankful for the Ranowski family for having your business here. We have a transportation hub, which who gets to have a transportation hub with a ferry? Very few cities can say that. So I am extremely thankful for that. I am thankful that we have a mayor who works so well with our businesses and makes New London a great place to have a business, and for the City Council Rihanna Dice. And I would be remiss if I did not give my greatest thanks to our federal delegation, Congressman Joe Courtney, who we all know how hard it is to get these competitive grants. I've tried to get some in my first 2 years, and you have to think outside the box and work really hard and have really good relationships. And I think when our businesses apply for these kind of grants, we know that we already are halfway there because of Congressman Courtney. So thankful to everybody here. And I too can't wait for the ribbon cutting and to go on to the ferry. So thank you.
Next, we have, again, legislature, just like Joe and Senator Blumenthal have to work as a team. In Congress, our state legislative delegation has to work as a team to support city projects and write letters of support and be there for every entity. And this is just one of the many things that Martha and our next speaker, Anthony Nolan, do for the city of New London and in support of Cross Sound Ferry. So, Representative Anthony Nolan.
Thank you for the opportunity to say a few words, and I really want to thank the Ranowski family for your just extended community service that you continue to give and have been giving for so many years. It is well appreciated. I've had an opportunity to work with a lot of youth that you've employed here, and went on rides and bothered them while they were working, just to see how well they were doing. And it's just so great to know that you are one of our great employees in New London that really make it work for our residents. So I really thank you for all that you've done. I thank our mayor, senator, and our council woman. It's great to have such a good team to work with to try and make this happen. This is why we go with Joe. I'm being real. This is why we go with Joe. You know,
it is the senator.
he's been a figure since I've been in politics to always give a call to him or his office and try and understand and develop a relationship so that we can do things, be part of doing things like this. And I'm very grateful for all that you continue to do for the city of New London. I'm grateful for our mayor, who's continually pounding doors and pounding sidewalks and pounding the road to make sure that New London keeps up with what New London keeps up with. A lot of the department heads that are here have done some great work trying to make sure that we continue to thrive. And this is the reason why we want to get people to come and explore New London, because this is what New London is, making big things happen. And thanks to all the people that are here, this is how it gets done. So I thank everybody, and have a nice Thanksgiving.
Thanks, Anthony. And with meticulous timing, as always, on the scene, our senior United States Senator. And as I mentioned before, none of these things get done unless the whole team is on board. And obviously, Joe represents well the very difficult thing known as the House of Representatives, particularly difficult these days. And on the other side, we have a man who has mastered the inside and outside of the United States Senate, who is able to deliver not only projects like this, but projects all across the state of Connecticut. And that is our senior states U.S. Senator Richard Blumenthal.
Thank you, Jay. Well, first of all, congratulations to Adam and John for all their hard work and for their success in really spearheading this measure. It's because of the demand for more ferry service. The Cross Island ferry service has been so successful and important. Let me just come right to the point, and I'm probably repeating a lot of what's been said, but I haven't heard it, so forgive me. You know, living further down the coast, I have been through all of the great visions and ventures to build a bridge over Long Island Sound, to build a tunnel under Long Island Sound, but the only reliable way across Long Island Sound is the ferry. It is the only reliable way to beat the traffic involving New York. So I think the senators from New York owe us a great big thanks. We're saving them a lot of traffic, really, seriously. Or as President Biden would say, no joke. It is no joke. It is intensely serious because literally the Cross Island Ferry gets cars off the road. It also is a force multiplier for jobs and economic development. With the construction of the new Coast Guard Museum and everything else that's going on in New London, it will continue to provide access to this world-class destination. And it will be a world-class destination when the museum is finished and other improvements are made. It seems like literally every other week we come down here, Mayor, to give you more money from the federal government. Not give you, invest in New London. Not a gift, not a gift. So let me just finish by saying the improvements to this facility are literally transformative because they will not only expand the kind of service provided, but also be a long-term investment for the future. And that is truly important for New London, for Connecticut. And that's my cue to finish. Thank you all.
Thank you, Senator. Now to the heart of the matter. I'd like to introduce Adam Ranowski, who is working on this project, obviously, with his father, and he will walk you through.
It's a celebration.
Well, you can see why we're a transportation center. We're able to arrange having train and ferries land at the same time. Adam Ranowski will walk us through the project.
Thank you, Jay. I wasn't counting on the wind and we're having to hold the mic today, so excuse me if I fumble a little bit. I'm Vice President and co-owner of Cross-Sound Ferry. Thank you for the opportunity to say a few words here today. I'd like to thank Mayor Passero, Congressman Courtney, and Senator Blumenthal for their support of this project, and also a big thanks to the rest of the delegation that's here today. I'd like to thank all of you for attending. What a turnout we had here. And also like to thank the whole Cross-Sound Ferry family. We're not just a business, we're a family business, but our employees are like family to us as well. Very dedicated. They've helped us make all this happen over the years. This is an excellent example of a public-private partnership. I'd like to explain some details of this project. You see down below me we have a diagram of the improvements. If you look to your left, you see the ferry that just docked here unloading on a ramp, and the ferry is secured to that ramp by what we call mooring dolphins. We're going to be replicating that same sort of structure right next to it, basically behind where the shed is, and that'll be our third large capacity ferry ramp. It represents a huge improvement and expansion to the facility. And then behind me to your right, you see undeveloped shoreline. That shoreline will be improved and expanded by adding a high strength bulkhead, and that'll enable us to grow the footprint of this facility by over 10,000 square feet. As Jay mentioned, we're very tight for land at this ferry terminal. We move more passengers and vehicles through this facility on a square foot basis than many other ferry terminals around the country. So that'll give us a much bigger area where we'll be able to locate our high-speed ferry terminal and our high-speed ferry loading ramps. When you have to line up 500 or 600 people to go aboard a ferry, you need a lot of land to stage them up. So that'll be integral to the process, to the project. And the project it's vital to enable ferry transportation between Long Island and Connecticut to continue to meet ever-increasing demand for the long term. Every car or truck that takes these ferries is one less vehicle that has to struggle through the heavily congested highway system of Western Connecticut and Long Island. And by providing a shortcut of up to 200 driving miles per vehicle, the ferry service helps to significantly reduce emissions. Next year, we will add a large ferry to our service, which is being built right now at our shipyard just up the river. There's a preliminary plan of the ferry right here below. This project will help accommodate this ferry as well as more new ferries in the future. I think it is fantastic that the federal government through MARAD, through the Port Infrastructure Development Program, along with the City of New London as the sponsor, can support a small business and a family business that provides a public service. And Crosstown Ferry is a family business, spanning 4 generations. My father, John Peter, right there, founded this company with my grandfather, John Henry, in 1975.